Ladies and gentlemen, our honorable chief guest is with us. Please join in giving a big round of applause to welcome her. A very good morning and a warm welcome to our distinguished chief guest and other dignitaries. On behalf of the Competition Commission of India, it is my pleasure to welcome you all for the celebration of the 16th Annual Day. We are delighted to celebrate this year's Annual Day on this very special occasion. It is our pleasure and privilege to have with us someone of such a remarkable stature and achievements, the Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, who has kindly consented to be our chief guest today and for having spared her valuable time to be with us. Thank you, ma'am. May I request Srimati Ravneet Kaur, Chairperson, Competition Commission of India, to welcome the chief guest with a bouquet of flowers. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request Ms. Sweta Kakkar, Member, Competition Commission of India, to welcome Ms. Deepti Gaur Mukherjee, Secretary, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, with a bouquet of flowers. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request the Honorable Minister to kindly light the ceremonial lamp and inaugurate the Annual Day. I also request the other dignitaries
distinguished guests, officers and staff of CCI, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It is my privilege and honor today to welcome you all to the 16th Annual Day of the Competition Commission of India. I am also very grateful to Madam for taking out her valuable time for joining us and gracing this occasion. Her presence not only encourages us, but is also reinforcing the importance of competition law in India's economic landscape. The annual day is a moment of reflection, recalibration, and rejuvenation for us at the Commission. It's a time when we look back at our journey, evaluate the impact of our work, and lay out the roadmap for future, which is in line with the nation's goals and aspirations. At the CCI, it has all along been our endeavor to work as a robust, responsive, and future-ready economic regulator. The foundational mandate of the Commission, which is preventing anti-competitive practices, is constant. But the mechanisms and strategies which are followed by the Commission evolve with the rapid shifts in the economic and technological landscape of the country. The Commission has adopted a forward-looking approach and is characterized by enforcement, advocacy, and institutional capacity building. It has also been proactive in recalibrating its regulatory tools and frameworks to respond effectively to the complexities of digital markets, globalization, and evolving business models. Over the years, the Commission has made remarkable progress in shaping a credible and consistent enforcement regime which is based on addressing anti-competitive practices and contributing significantly to building a transparent and predictable business environment. Its jurisprudence provides critical guidance on key aspects of competition law, whether it is cartels, abuse of dominance, or merger control. Beyond enforcement, it has also been the Commission's objective to lay out a culture of competition compliance in the country, and to spread this awareness that fair competition is not a legal obligation, but it is a strategic imperative for growth and innovation. I would like to just mention the achievements of the Commission so far. We have so far in the Commission received over 300 antitrust cases, out of which nearly 1,200 cases have been disposed of with a disposal rate of 90%. Similarly, when we look at the work on the merger control side, we have received 1,284 combination proposals, of which 1,265 have been cleared with a disposal rate of over 99%. The Competition Amendment Act of 2023 is a very significant milestone in the journey of the Commission, and it marked a change in the way the regulatory framework would operate for the future. It was part of the government's vision that India's competition law must remain progressive, pragmatic, efficient, and future-ready. With this aim, the resolve was that we would work towards a competition regime which is agile, transparent, and aligned with the realities of the market. So these comprehensive amendments were carried out, and these will go a long way in changing the way the regulatory framework would operate. So with a view to operationalize these changes, the Competition Amendment Act of 2023 was operationalized and notified through a set of rules and regulations. The first one, the participatory approach which we followed, is something which I would like to point out, because we did extensive consultation with stakeholders, whether it is industry, legal practitioners, academics, or civil society experts. And through this participatory process, we came to the finalization of these regulations. So if I were to just refer briefly to the regulations we have done in the last 1.5 years, we have the leniency regulations, which provide for a leniency plus regime, which encourages more disclosure of cartels. We have the commitment and settlement regulations, which have come in for the first time, that now the Commission can settle cases and offer commitments in case there is an offer from the contravening parties. The third major introduction is the turnover regulations and the penalty guidelines. These bring much needed clarity and consistency in the process of imposition of penalties. The merger regulations is another big one, where the introduction of the deal value threshold and the reduction in timelines for competition assessment have also been operationalized. The general regulations were revised, and we ensured that now the procedures are aligned with the current requirements of the Act and the other regulations. The penalty recovery regulations have also been redone, and we're looking at a structured mechanism which will ensure that the penalties which are imposed by the Commission are recovered. The last one is the cost of production regulations, which we have done just this month, where we have come out with what will be the mechanism of determination of cost of production. It was very essential that we have a consistent approach for determination of cost, because this was becoming a very important feature when we come to digital markets and platforms, that what actually is the cost of production and how do we determine predatory pricing and deep discounting. So now it is expected that it will be much more accurate and objective and much easier for the enforcement outcomes to be decided. So these set of 10 new regulations have made a transformative shift in the way the competition law will now be working in the country. Another aspect which is very important for us, madam, is the digital markets. Because digital markets are the ones where we see very rapid change, and the first mover advantage gets concretized very quickly. And we have these possibilities of algorithmic decision making and self-preferencing by those who have the first mover advantage. So in this case, our approach has been that we have to have a balance when it comes to looking at such conduct. Because while such conduct cannot be permitted, however, our enforcement has to be evidence-based, proportionate, and anchored in rigorous economic analysis. Therefore, for even further building our capacity, we are doing market studies. And one of the key market studies which is currently being undertaken is the one on artificial intelligence and competition. So the intention of the Commission is that we have to have insights from these studies and understand through our stakeholder engagement, what are the regulatory tools which need to be employed, and what are the potential competition issues which may arise. Madam, I am very grateful to you to be here today, and we would be requesting you to unveil two of our very key documents today. One is the FAQs on combination. This was something which was being sought for some time, and we were getting requests from the industry, from the legal practitioners as well, to clarify, especially when there were a lot of changes which happened in the competition side, which was basically a deal value threshold, substantial business operations, commercially sensitive information, and changes in the procedures. So I am very grateful, madam. We would requesting you to release that FAQ. The other document, ma'am, is the diagnostic toolkit, which would also be unveiled by you today. That is covering the changes when it comes to procurement issues. Because apart from our enforcement activity on the front of abuse of dominance, we also look at bid rigging as a collusive practice. So for guidance of the public procurement officers, this diagnostic toolkit has been updated. And I'm very grateful that you have provided a very inspiring message for this diagnostic toolkit. Madam, once again, I would like to mention that CCI is committed to work according to the national goals and aspirations and the government's vision of Viksit Bharat of 2047, where India would be a developed economy which is innovation-led and inclusive. Our vision is very closely aligned to that, because competitive markets are the foundation on which this pillar of an economy can be built. And CCI is committed to ensuring that we have market access for small business, We encourage innovation, prevent monopolistic practices, and promote digital inclusion. Therefore, as we celebrate our 16 years of institutional growth, the journey of CCI has been a testament to our resolve to adapt, evolve, and learn. We remain committed to upholding the principles of fairness, inclusivity, and transparency in all our endeavors. I take this opportunity also to thank the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and for their unwavering support, our other departments for their dedication, and all our stakeholders, some of whom are also present here today, for their continuous engagement and meaningful contributions which will enable us to achieve the goal of Viksit Bharat collectively, and also for the Commission to contribute to that goal. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. As you are aware, the Competition Commission of India, as a part of its advocacy mandate, had issued various advocacy booklets. With the passage of time and in view of the recent amendments to the Competition Act, these documents have been revised and updated. It is my pleasure and privilege to request the Honorable Minister to kindly release the two booklets today. May I first request the Honorable Minister to release the Diagnostic Toolkit for Public Procurement Officers. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request the Honorable Minister to release the FAQs on combinations. Thank you, ma'am. May I now request the Honorable Minister to deliver the Annual Day Address.
Good morning to the Chairperson of Competition Commission, Secretary Corporate Affairs, and all the members of the Commission, past presidents of the, or past chairpersons of the Competition Commission, and all invited dignitaries and the media. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be here, and also on the occasion of the 16th annual day, of which the Chairperson has given us an elaborate sort of report about how the Commission is keeping itself tuned to the needs of today. I think the strength of any Commission is to anticipate what is happening and what is likely to happen, particularly in a country like in India, where despite opening up our economy in 1991, the progression towards opening has been, if I can say, steady, but could have been faster. Equally, the challenges globally of competition, the spike and sudden increase in the electronic way of doing business, the digital commerce, have all brought in absolutely newer technology-driven challenges for assessing free market. So, Competition Commission of India is actually functioning amidst all these challenges and is still in its teens. So, facing the challenges, I would say, very well, and also making sure that you anticipate the changes in the market and be relevant to the needs of the time. So it's not just a celebration of an institution, but also a confirmation of a principle that markets must work for the many and not just for the few. That itself captures the free market, democratizing the market principle, and therefore is the key principle, I would think. The enactment of the Competition Act in 2002 was a landmark reform in India's journey from a centrally planned regime, as I said, to a market-driven one, and making the Competition Commission a key institution in safeguarding the spirit of liberalization while checking its excesses. The mandate of the Competition Commission of India under the Competition Act is threefold. One, to promote and sustain competition in markets, to protect the interests of consumers and ensure freedom of trade, and finally, and most critically, to prevent practices having an adverse effect on competition. So the simple truth, which I'd like to mention here, drives this mandate, and that is competition drives efficiency, nurtures innovation, and also benefits consumers. Therefore, for innovation, competition acts as a relentless nudge. In a monopolistic environment, there is just no urgency to evolve. Whereas with competition, the fear of being outpaced forces organizations to innovate, and as a result, whether it is in technology or in design or in service or even in delivery. So I think the current situation is aggravated both positively and otherwise because of technology-driven innovation playing a big role in our economy. Free and fair market actually ensures that no single player can corner resources, suppress choice, or to distort price discovery. This benefits our consumers. Competition ensures that the voice of consumers, that is the common people, matters, and therefore businesses are forced to listen. Prices fall not due to charity, but because someone else is willing to offer the same product for less. Quality improves not due to sense of ethics, but because mediocrity is punished by market forces. And therefore, in a competitive market, the consumer becomes powerful, not by assertion, but by default. The Commission's interventions, whether through enforcement, advocacy, market studies, or regulatory reforms, play a significant role in facilitating the environment where enterprises, big or small, can compete on merit, where consumers are empowered with choices and where innovation and efficiency are rewarded. For India, a nation of 1.4 billion people, ensuring free and fair market is not merely an economic need, it is a democratic one. Economies that embrace competition are by nature more dynamic, and therefore CCI plays an important role in this backdrop to keep the competition alive in the markets. The ability of the Commission is a very important point on which all of us will have to mull over a lot of fundamental facts. The ability of the Commission to strike a balance between the regulatory vigilance and a pro-growth mindset will be integral to building a resilient, equitable, and innovation-driven economic framework in India as it aspires to become Vikasit Bharat, the chairperson referred to it, by 2047. On the one hand, it has the Commission has upheld the sanctity of the law through firm and decisive enforcement actions against anti-competitive practice. On the other, it has shown equal commitment to enabling legitimate business conduct, thereby encouraging an environment where enterprises can innovate, grow, and compete fairly. Such a calibrated stance contributes significantly to inclusive market development and building investor confidence in India's regulatory framework. Evolving challenges is actually changing the nature of the economy itself to an extent. With the last few years marked by a series of wide-ranging disruptions, from the COVID pandemic to evolving geopolitical tensions and supply chains breaking down, the need for strong, responsive, and forward-thinking institutions has never been more critical. In an export-challenged, environment-challenged, energy-challenged, and emission-challenged world, the increased reliance on domestic growth levers requires ensuring the right balance of regulation and freedom. India's ongoing structural reforms, whether it is asset monetization, disinvestment, and digital public infrastructure, all are geared towards unlocking market potential and deepening competition. So, in this year's Union Budget, I had mentioned the importance of a light-touch regulatory framework based on principles and trust to unleash productivity and employment. In the same vein, regulators must be guided by the principle of minimum necessary, maximum feasible in order to balance regulatory vigilance with a pro-growth mindset. Again, in this year's budget, I had announced that the requirements and the procedures for speedy approval of company mergers will be rationalized, and the scope for fast-track mergers will also be widened and the process be made simpler. So, in addition to the traditional challenges, recent years have also seen emergence of new challenges. Artificial intelligence technologies raise novel questions about market power, transparency, data access, algorithmic biases, and also scope of competitive harm. Free and fair digital markets are challenged by the emergence of gatekeeper platforms, asymmetries in data access, and cross-border implications of digital business models. The rise of cross-border digital monopolies demands global cooperation and agile regulations. Since before the G20 India presidency, and more particularly after the G20 India presidency, we've been taking up on global cooperation and also global understanding in regulation as well. I'm pleased to note that the Competition Commission's proactive engagement and commendable progress in building internal capacity to address traditional and emerging challenges. Over the years, the Commission has effectively utilized market studies as a powerful non-enforcement tool to deepen its understanding of emerging sectors, identify potential competition issues, and build consensus among stakeholders. The recently initiated market study by the CCI on artificial intelligence and competition is a timely and strategic initiative. The establishment of Digital Markets Division is also a timely move and is expected to become a center of excellence in understanding technology markets, forging inter-regulatory partnership, and engaging in global disclosures. The discourse can also be widened by such a center of excellence. The establishment of regional offices has also enhanced the CCI's capabilities and accessibility to the companies and responsiveness to stakeholders across states. As markets deepen and diversify across India, it is important that the CCI continues to be approachable and visible. Holding awareness camps, stakeholder consultations, and compliance workshops in different parts of the country would help. And that would help in building a more informed ecosystem and making competition principles more widely understood and followed. CCI's role in the competition assessment of such instruments is also crucial. And that is because we do not want competitive markets to be influenced only by business conduct, but also by government policies, laws and regulation, entry barriers, licensing norms, or procurement rules can also create distortion. In today's interconnected and fast-paced economy, delays in regulatory clearance can lead to uncertainty, disrupt commercial timelines, and potentially erode the intended value of transactions. And globally, it has an impact even as we negotiate free trade agreements with different countries, because the ability, the nimbleness, and the readiness of our regulators is very keenly watched by investors. There is no need for me to underline the importance of that, but that has a very serious connotation when you're looking at fairly within reasonable time agreeing on some free trade agreements. So whether it is litigation, whether it is time consumed in litigation, or whether when regulators are less transparent, negotiations can get complicated. It is therefore imperative that regulatory frameworks, while maintaining rigorous oversight, also facilitate swift and seamless approvals for combinations that pose no harm to competition. I'm also pleased to note that the Commission introduced a green channel mechanism in response to this need, which is a trust-based, risk-calibrated approach, which allows the automated approval of combinations that are deemed to have no appreciable adverse effect on competition in order to reduce transaction costs and timelines for benign mergers and acquisitions. The Competition Amendment Act of 2023 has been an important landmark in the evolution of the competition law in India, strengthening the Commission's enforcement capabilities while simultaneously creating a more facilitative and transparent regulatory framework. One of the key provisions of the Amendment Act was the inclusion of transaction value thresholds, mandating that all deals valued above 2,000 crores now require prior notification to the Competition Commission of India. This is particularly relevant in the digital economy, where asset-light business models and high-value acquisitions may escape traditional asset or turnover-based thresholds. In parallel, a merger review timeline have also been introduced from 210 days to 150 days, enabling quicker regulatory decisions that align with the fast-moving nature of the global business transactions. By broadening the scope of anti-competitive agreements, the Act also equips the Commission to better address modern, complex forms of collusion. Further, the introduction of the settlement and commitment frameworks represents a significant step towards reducing protracted litigation and enabling faster resolution of investigations, particularly in cases involving abuse of dominance or vertical restraints. So in conclusion, I would like to say that as India integrates further with the global value chains and digital ecosystems, maintaining open and contestable markets will be crucial to our competitiveness. The Competition Commission of India, through its unique mandate and cross-sectoral role, will be a key enabler in this journey, whether it is facilitating market access for MSMEs, addressing barriers that impede fair competition, promoting digital inclusion, or ensuring that the consumers benefit from better choices, lower prices, and improved quality. Congratulations to the Commission, the officers, and the entire staff for their tireless efforts, unwavering commitment, and also for forward-looking vision. I urge you to continue striving for excellence, innovation, and equity. Thank you very much. Competition Commission, Secretary Corporate Affairs, and all the members of the Commission, past presidents of past chairpersons of the Competition Commission, and all invited dignitaries and the media. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be here, and also on the occasion of the 16th annual day, of which the chairperson has given us an elaborate